Well, I always thought I'd try out one of these. This is Sean, aka Dietless 79. Never really gotten in front of the camera too much, so I thought I'd give it a little whirl. I just want to kind of shoot off the cuff a little bit and talk about a few things that are on my mind in gaming and the gaming community in general. And just really, if people like these, I'll try to make these at least a semi-regular kind of a dealy. Uh, got some stuff written down, really just to keep me on track a little bit. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the Geo X. The reason why I want to talk about the Geo X is really, in my opinion, is that, you know, I think really it's something that wasn't so much unnecessary as it was something that, well, the concept was nice, the execution was poor. You've got people from Ashens, whose main shtick, if you will, is reviewing things that are of poor quality at times. He's reviewed some things that are actually pretty decent. Um, Luke Morse 1 tore it down physically, took it apart, and looked at the hardware. Actually, Ashens, in his review of it, even showed that the software on the Geo X for playing the games is a pre-existing emulator that's always been around, apparently, since, for the longest time anyway. Um, um, Lactobacillus Prime, aka Mark Vergier, he's gotten one, and apparently the left trigger wasn't even working; it was broken. My opinion, it's the high price that they put on it for something that is so cheaply made. It could have been executed a lot better, because one of the things that SNK really showed with the Neo Geo AES and the MVS were build quality. I mean, they commanded a high price, but I mean, you got quality. You got the arcade experience at home. You've literally got an arcade machine that's just been made into a bit more of a consoleized profile, although not to be confused with the consoleized MVSs that people are fond of. But you got quality. There's a reason why you're paying $500 for that gold edition AES back in the day, and you're paying like $200 or $300 for that game. Now, honestly, myself personally, I have a PSP 2000 that's hacked with the 6.60 firmware. I have an MVS AES emulator on there. I have CPS 1 and 2, etc. They all work fine. And to tell you the truth, I've got one of those. I've got no interest in the Neo Geo X. For one thing, build quality is a lot better, I gotta say, with the PSP. That's something that's still going to be in demand for a nice while. Um, the fact that it can emulate other things besides just the AES is a bonus. And you can output it to a television. The 3000s can do composite and component. The 2000 can do component for game playback, but only composite for video playback. But still, I mean, what's a PSP these days? $50 for a good quality one, and you can hack it within like about 3-4 minutes. Even the PSP Go can be hacked now, for Lord's sake. So I mean, really, in my opinion, all you're paying for with the Neo Geo X is nostalgia, and being taken advantage of nostalgia-wise. Kind of wet the old whistle. Now the next thing I want to get on to is Butthurt. Now something that really, sticks a craw in my hat, so to speak. I see a lot of people in the community that they get really butthurt over certain comments. They can't take criticism. They can't take, you know, having dislikes. They can't take having negative comments. I'm not going to name names in any of these because, out of respect to these people myself, I'm not in this to make enemies, but I'm in this to try to give a little bit of, devil's advocacy and, maybe a bit of help. You make a video, you liked it yourself, you put it up, a lot of your friends like it, but, somebody crawls out of the woodwork, maybe two or three, and they don't. They're entitled to their opinion. It's a free world. But some people just can't take those criticisms. They'll delete comments or they'll turn off commenting altogether in their videos, and it's just, oh. It starts off a lot of, issues. Same thing with live streams. I've been witness to in live streams some butthurt just rear its ugly head, for petty reasons. Putting down somebody because of the title of their video, etc. You know, if the video is violating the YouTube guidelines by, you know, the title being misleading, then yes, then it's not something that's a debatable point. They're, you know, violating guidelines. But if, you know, they try to be creative with their title and you don't like it, then, you know, lump it. Really. Butthurt to me is just simply somebody not liking an opinion. Another one, trolls. Kind of goes along with the butthurt there. You're gonna get trolls. You're gonna end up, you know, at some point, if you're doing a great enough job of something, you're gonna get haters. You're gonna get trolls. The thing is, not let the trolls get to you. You know, there are trolls out there that just, you know, they literally just get off in some manner to the fact that they are what we called, before the internet came up with the term trolls, shit disturbers. They literally just get off on causing trouble and causing people to have conflict. One of the things I do outside of the regular YouTube gaming community, gaming wise, is that I'm in a regional admin for a Facebook gaming group. I'm from an area called Central Labrador. It's part of the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. And a Facebook group that we use for trading, buying, selling games, or just, you know, sharing funny gaming pictures and things like that. It's called Labrador Gamers, and I will link it in the description. But we would have people pop up on there and intentionally start off the eternal PS3 versus 360 debates, where it would get to the point where people would get down and dirty and start getting petty and personal about it. But the debates were started off by people literally just wanting the debates to be started so they can see the conflict and they can see the decimation left in the wake of their, you know, shit disturbance. They're just doing it for a laugh. They're just doing it so they can sit back and watch others, you know, have discomfort. Don't feed the trolls. You know, somebody says something bad about you. So what? Seriously. Grow a set. Let them drop. Female or male, because I'm using a figure of speech here, but, you know, get a thicker skin. If you're on YouTube, you're putting yourself there out in the public, you're saying an opinion or what's so forth, and people don't like it, and, you know, they've got something to say about it, let them say it. Now, if they're just, you know, somebody going along trying to say things and do things just to get under your skin, don't bother with them either. It's like, you know, when you were in school as a kid and there's that kid over in the corner making the burping and farting noises, flicking things at you, trying to make, you know, just a disturbance in general. What happened when everybody ignored that kid and gave him the silent treatment, no matter what he did? After a while, he stopped. Why? He wasn't getting an audience. He wasn't getting what he wanted. Or she. You know, there are female trolls as well. But, really, don't take the troll seriously. Okay? I'm 33, literally going to be 34 tomorrow. And one thing I've learned is that you keep your bullshit detector in good working order, you can usually smell a troll from a mile away. Usually by the amount of shit that they're full of. So, there's that. So I got those few things off my chest. Another thing that's kind of been really playing on my mind, so to speak, is, well, I got it written down here pretty much as straightforward as it's going to be. YouTube, career or hobby. Now, I see some people out there, and they do the videos simply for a hobby. One thing is, like, Johnny Millennium did a thank you for his 50,000 subscriber video. And he does this as a hobby. He has a day job. I've been told what his day job is. I'm not going to repeat what his day job is because, you know, that's none of our business, to be honest. What the man wants to do with his personal life is what he doesn't want to put out there in his videos. That's totally his business, and everybody has that right to. I myself, I'm not going to put out what I do for a career or what my background is. You know, people want to know, they can ask me, and I can choose to tell them or not. But there's some people out there that get past it being a hobby, and it starts becoming something else. They want to make it their business. And then you see them networking through Facebook and Twitter, etc. You know, and it's great. It's all fine and dandy. If you can manage to make a career out of YouTube, especially using social media behind you and a website, etc., it's all fine and dandy. I think that, you know, it's great. But now, if you're having problems with it, and you get to the point where, well, I'm going to yank my videos for now because YouTube changed their layout once again, so I'm really butthurt, and this goes back to the butthurt part of my video about, you know, the fact that I'm not getting the views that I think I should be entitled to. So I'm going to yank them until YouTube settles things down and people know how to use the interface. That's just this petty. Okay? If you are not working, not doing anything, and you got your heart totally set on YouTube being a career, make sure you got a backup plan. One of the things in this, unless you are very dedicated towards this, because YouTube is a totally different beast than what it was, say, 6 years ago, is that it is a lot harder to start out now in YouTube as a career. You could probably hook up with a network and end up, making a bit of money at it. You could, probably supplement the income that you have that's pre-existing. But if you're just, got the pie in the sky idea that I'm going to make YouTube videos and I'm never going to have to work again and I'm going to eschew working for the man and be my own boss, then you have to really plan for the fact that that might not work out. Same thing as, coming directly out of high school, move to the big city waiting tables because you want to be a song and dance person, or you're going to be the next Spielberg, or I don't know, you're going to be the next Jim Lee in comic books. I had that aspiration once. Drawing for me now, art in general is just a hobby. I think my Facebook friends that see, the artwork I do, and they say you should sell them. Well, when you make a hobby into a career, you don't enjoy it as much either. I like I said, I'm not going to name names, but I've seen people in my feed that, they won't put up any videos until further notice, like I said, because they don't like the fact that, people can't view their videos as easy, so they're not going to get the hits and they're not going to get the ad returns. Wow. Can you sound more butthurt? Always goes back to that, doesn't it? Butthurt. But really, if you're doing it as a hobby, do it as a hobby, because then you're doing it for enjoyment. Nobody does a hobby because it's just something they need to do whatever. A hobby is something you're made to enjoy, because if it wasn't enjoyable, you wouldn't be doing it. It wouldn't be a hobby. It'd be a chore. It'd be like doing your dishes. Do you call housework a hobby? No. It's a necessary thing that has to be done. A hobby is something you enjoy, something you do, simply for the fact it brings you that little bit of endorphin rush or pleasure or what have you. You like, going to that yard sale and finding that Snow Brothers cartridge. You like that hobby where you put together, model airplanes or something like that, although, they changed the glue, so you might not enjoy it as much. But, when you turn a hobby into a career, it becomes less enjoyable, unless you really keep the mindset that this is two things at the same time, etc. But, yeah, enough about that. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a tag out there to the gaming community. And it's called, "What's on your butt whilst you game?" And what I mean is, do you have a dedicated area that you do your gaming in? It could be your living room. You could have a hobby room like I do, and you have an area set up dedicated to gaming that you can sit down and do, whether it be your PC and your console gaming. You might even have a table over in the corner for tabletop. Say you got a few friends come over and play Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, board games like Alhambra or Seven Wonders, something like that. Usually you sit for things like that, and some people got their favorite comfy chair. I got mine. I'm sitting on it right now as we speak. Now, the pattern of the furniture that I'm sitting on, this armchair, is less than fashionable. I can't bear to get it reupholstered, so I've got pillowcases for the armrests and the shoulder, the backrest, and an old fleece Sally Ann blanket that I'm sitting on. And just to show you, it's wool. It's like a gold and a bronze and etc. I think the last time something like that was in style was when Disco Inferno probably topped the charts. A friend of mine gave me this when they were cleaning out their cottage in the country. And I tell you, after I cleaned it up, there was another little foam pillow underneath the seat, and that had dehydrated to the point where the foam was starting to render into a dust, so I'd simply vacuumed it out. And you know, every time I game, I sit in this. A lot of times now when the live streams happen now, let's say with Jay Blackheart and Trouble 8385, or even when I just sit down and Skype with them while I'm playing a game, this is where I sit. You know, I have a laptop. Actually, I'm looking at it. It's right here in my viewing right now, and I have a little cheap little 70s veneer end table here that I hold my water or my tea or whatever. I actually bring in tea with a pot and, you know, cup and saucer, or I bring in my lunch and I'll sit down in front of the TV. It's, if you've seen my CRT quickie video, this TV is what I'm usually doing the bulk of my gaming on. It's a 480i TV. I thought it was 480p, but no, it's 480i because I've tried to hook 480p specific devices to it and it doesn't work. But I mean, it's a second monitor for my computer. It's so I can do my computer gaming. I actually use my original Xbox controller from my video. Thanks guys for the 45,000 hits. I'm amazed, by the way. But I mean, the cord's long enough where it reaches to the tower, and I've cloned the screen so that I can play the games on my television through S-Video. I've got my PS2, my 360 hooked in via component. I've got my Wii and my Nintendo 64, and there's actually even an input for my iPod Nano. There are a few games on it. I actually have the first Sonic the Hedgehog on it, and my jailbroken iPhone as well can output to it as well, so I can play iOS games on the TV if I so choose. It defeats the purpose, but yeah, and sometimes I'll bring the PSP in and I'll play games on there, although it's much nicer actually on the small flat panel I have in the living room. But yeah, this is what I sit on when I do my gaming. This is what holds my butt and my back into place when I game. So, really, I'm going to put that tag out there. Again, what's under your butt whilst you game? I look forward to the responses. And, you know, I look forward to the responses on this video. I'm not going to be a like and share whore about this. Just, you know, if you like it, you like it. You know, if you don't, you don't. I'm not going to cry in my spilled milk over the fact that you don't like the words that are coming out of my mouth and the opinions that I give you. It's just a matter of life. People have differing opinions. This is why we have a democratic system. Unless, you know, we were in a communist country. Then, you know, go Reds. But yeah, take care. Hopefully this will be up before the live stream tonight, hosted by Trouble 8385. I'm going to be sitting in on the stream. And so anybody who is a friend of mine on Facebook, etc., I will be sharing the link as well, and I will be sitting in on the stream. So, see y'all then. Later.